You know, when you're around someone and every single time you leave, it feels like something inside you has been taken away. You didn't run a marathon, you didn't work overtime, but somehow you walk out feeling drained, heavy, empty. It's not because you're weak, it's because some people have a way of pulling everything out of you without ever giving anything back. And that kind of weight, most of us know it, but we don't really talk about it. I've lived through it. I've had people in my life who only seemed to find me when they needed something: my time, my ear, my energy. I was the one who listened to their problems at 2 a.m. I was the one who canceled my plans when they had a breakdown. I was the one who made space for them even when my own life was falling apart. But when it was my turn, when I needed someone to notice I wasn't okay, they were gone. No check in. No, "Are you good?" Just silence. And that silence, it's louder than shouting. It's the kind of silence that makes you realize you're the only one actually holding this so-called friendship or relationship together. And I stayed. That's the part that eats at me. I stayed because I thought being there for them was what made me loyal. I stayed because I thought maybe if I gave more, they'd finally see me, finally value me, finally match the effort. But the truth? The more I gave, the less I had for myself. And nobody tells you that. Nobody warns you that trying to hold on to energy draining people will strip you down until you don't even recognize yourself anymore. Here's the part that people avoid saying out loud: energy draining people aren't always the obvious toxic ones. They're not always rude, not always mean. Sometimes they're people you actually love. That's what makes it so confusing. Because you convince yourself, if I love them, I should be able to handle this. But love isn't supposed to cost you your peace. Respect isn't supposed to feel one-sided. And no connection, friendship, relationship, or family should leave you emptier than you came. It took me too long to learn this. But I want to tell you something straight. You can't fix someone who refuses to fix themselves. You can't be the endless battery that keeps someone else running while you're dying out inside. That's not strength. That's self-destruction. And when you finally realize it, when you finally see the pattern for what it is, you start to understand why boundaries aren't just important, they're survival. Now, I'm not saying the answer is to cut every draining person out of your life in one day. Sometimes it's someone you care too much about to walk away from completely. The real solution starts smaller. You learn to limit the time you give. You learn to notice the moment the conversation shifts from healthy to heavy, and you quietly protect yourself. You learn to say no, not to be cruel, but because you know your energy is valuable. And here's the unexpected part. Once you start protecting your energy, the right people, the ones who actually care, will respect it. They'll notice the difference. They'll adjust. The wrong ones, they'll fade out. And as painful as it feels, that fading is a blessing in disguise. I used to be scared of losing people by pulling back. I thought setting limits would push them away. But ask yourself, what are you really losing if the only thing they gave you was exhaustion? What are you actually missing when the only thing they contributed was taking more than they ever gave? That's not a loss. That's freedom. That's making space for someone who might actually meet you where you are. And if you're in that place right now where you feel like you're constantly giving and nobody notices how drained you are, I want you to hear me clearly. It's not weakness to pull back. It's not selfish to say no. It's not unkind to protect your peace. It's strength. The strongest thing you can do sometimes is step away from the people who keep taking without ever asking if you're okay. So if this feels too familiar, if you've been carrying this alone, I want you to know you don't have to stay quiet about it. If you can't tell anyone in your life, you can always write me a letter, or just drop your story in the comments below. Sometimes the first step to getting your energy back is just saying out loud, I'm tired of being emptied. And once you admit that, and once you finally put it into words, you'll see. You're not the only one who feels this way. Because the truth is, everyone has dealt with energy-draining people at some point. The difference is whether you keep letting them take, or whether you finally decide enough is enough. You deserve relationships that fill you up, not ones that leave you running on fumes. You deserve to feel wanted, not used. You deserve to walk away from a conversation feeling lighter in the right way. Not because you lost something, but because someone gave you something back. And maybe that's the quiet lesson most people never say. You don't have to carry everyone else just to prove you're good enough. You're already enough. And the moment you stop letting people drain you, you'll start to feel like yourself again.